well, stop watching it then. Like, block me. I'm not
You
going
don't
to
have to
stop.
comment as well. Like,
But,
you
like,
could just scroll.
But there's nothing wrong with coming from TikTok, and I think it should be something that you're proud of, because I think social media is this new portfolio of talent, and I think it's fab.
I worked with
Do
a
you
creator
have?
who got one. It's like,
Yeah. I'm so sorry. I'm tightening up.
Monica Geldart, welcome to the podcast.
Thank
I know I
you.
shouldn't have favourites, but you're one of my favourites. So
Can I
I'm
say?
very excited to be speaking to you.
Thank you.
I wanted to start because I've spoke to you so many times about your life and your career, and we've talked so much about your social media, but I've not really ever dug into your acting and where it all started. So
God.
when did you start acting? When did you get the book for it?
Probably since I was like able to walk and talk, I would just be like dancing around.
Yeah.
Like, I know that's not acting, but like I'd like to perform.
Loads of like home videos.
Home video.
Yeah.
Oh my God, yeah. I'd be like, right, Dad, get the camera. I'm going to do some ballet for you. Like, I've never done ballet in my life. Just start performing. And then I think you get into reception, don't you? And then you put on little shows for your parents to come and watch. Used to just absolutely love it. And then
Did you ever sing as well? I've never heard you sing.
I can't sing.
Okay.
No, and I can't sing. And do you know what? I'm not one of those people that's like, I can't sing, and then we'll like belt out the like hardest Beyonce song. I cannot sing. I had singing lessons for a while, and there was no improvement.
Because they usually come in tandem, don't they? Like drama school, singing.
Yeah,
acting.
yeah. Well, I mean, if you can sing, dance, and act, you're a triple threat. But I am a single.
I had no dancing either.
No. I'm really not musical theatre kid, and it's funny as well because my agent is like, if there's something you don't want to get put forward for, whether that's like gambling, advertisement, or money lending advertisement, then just let me know. So I was like, well, yeah, don't want to do that. And no musical theatre. I just can't do it. I don't have the knack. I really wanted to. And like when I was younger, I used to go to dance lessons, and I was just that kid in the class that the parents probably thought, oh, she's having fun, isn't she? But I just didn't have it. And but yeah, always went to like drama clubs and dance clubs, and I did really enjoy it. But I think that acting kind of took more of a lead when I was about 13, and I was like, right, I need to accept the fact that I'm not going to be a dancer or a singer. And actually I just enjoyed the acting more. I just loved it. But when I was a kid, like I would always play, make believe and play with your toys and imaginary friends.
Yeah. This is starting to explain so much.
Yeah.
Did you go to drama school though?
No, I didn't. So when I finished school at 18, I went to sixth form. I got in by like the skin of my teeth because I didn't do very well in school. And I only really got into sixth form because my drama teacher, I went to my drama teacher and I said, I'm not getting into sixth form. I don't know what to do. And I was going to have to go to the small college in the town that I lived in, but I don't know. There was something about the college and I didn't really want to go, and I wanted to go to sixth form. All my friends were there. I didn't have many GCSEs, and I was like, if I can just get one A level, like it would feel like I've accomplished something. So I went to a drama teacher and I said, I've not got in, I don't know what to do. And all, because they told me really, really late that I hadn't got in. So when I was applying to other schools in my area for sixth form, there was no places. I was like, I don't know what I'm going to do. And obviously at this time, you're only 16, you have to be in education until you're 18. So I was like, I'm going to have to go to college. I just didn't want to go. And my drama teacher was like, she was from Middlesbrough, so she had a slight Geordie accent, and she'd be like, right, let me go and sort it. So
That was good.
Yeah, we used to do that in year 10. We had drama with her, and for the whole year, me and my friends would just speak Geordie. And at the end, she was like, can I ask you a question?
Are you good at other accents?
A few.
Which ones?
I can do Scouse now because I ended up speaking Scouse.
I was on the phone to you the other day.
It was bad.
And you were twanging in Scouse since you've been living there now.
I know. And do you know what? It's worse with me and Vicar together because I'm like, no, do you know what I mean? And I'm like, I've never been able to.
I don't know what you mean.
I don't know what you mean. And I've never been able to do a Scouse accent. It's really, really hard. But now I can do it. I can do a few.
Yeah.
But Connor's really good at accents.
What can he do?
All sorts. He's very good at Irish.
Is he?
Yeah, he's really, really good.
You can do an Irish one?
Not really, no.
So you got into sixth form?
Yeah, so she went and spoke to the head of year and she was like, she'll work really hard. And they were like, oh, okay, if you work really hard. And I was like, I will. So I got in and I did my A-levels and They
In
weren't.
drama or?
Yeah, so it was theatre studies.
Got you.
So it was like really heavy written, and the written side of life and the academic side of life is just not my forte at all. And it was really heavy written, and I did try until it got to probably about the end, and I was like, I can't do this. I'm not a writer. And then I remember our coursework had to be in on one of the days, because you go off on study leave.
Yes.
In year 13,
Yeah.
and you have like 12 weeks holiday. Well, it's not holiday, it's 6 weeks revision. 6 weeks holiday. I was like, 12 weeks of summer, yay! And she rung me, the teacher one day, and she was like, you need to have your coursework in today. And I was like, I've not done it. So I was like, on my laptop, like, da, 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 da. And she was like, you didn't do this over the few weeks, did you? And I was like, no. And started crying.
Well, and you got out of it?
Well, I was genuinely sorry, because my drama teacher, like Mrs. McClurg, she was my favourite woman in the whole world, and I did feel bad. But I think I just knew that I wasn't going to be coming out with anything above a D. I just kind of accepted fate.
Did you pass in the end?
I got a D. I got a D. Yeah, it's a pass, and then I got a D in English, and then I got like a merit in, it was BTEC media.
Right.
And then I was going to go to drama school, but I didn't apply quick enough. And my friends were going to uni, and I don't know, I kind of just ignored everything that like had to come next, and just thought, I didn't have no plan whatsoever. Yeah. So it was parents' evening, and I sat with my drama teacher, and she said, what are you going to go and do? And I said, I don't know. And it was our final parents' evening of school, and she was like, you need a plan. And I was like, yeah, I know. And my mum was sat next to me, and she said there's a job that sometimes students do when they leave year 13, and they can come be an arts technician for the school. And it's like basically you just help do displays and help be a bit of a teaching assistant and help get trips organised.
Right. I was going to ask you, how did you go from there to teach?
Yeah, well, that was it. So I was like, I'll do that. I'll take it. It'll be fab. And she was like, okay, well, I'll have to put you forward, and you'll get an interview. And I was like, okay. So anyway, she put me forward, and I didn't even interview. I just got the job because I don't think anyone else applied. So they were like, they need someone. And then students will do that for a year, and within that year they'll, learn that you can earn a bit of money and work, and then maybe you'll go off to uni, or you'll go and get another job. And I was like, I don't know what to do. And I thought, well, I'll apply for drama school. So I applied to the big ones like RADA, LAMDA, Rose Bruford, and like, all the ones like that. And you have to pay a fee to audition. No. And they're like,
a lot.
They're like up to 80 quid an audition. They were really expensive. I don't know if they're like that anymore, but really expensive. And I was like, Dad, I want to apply for drama school. Can you help me with the money? Because I was on like minimum wage. And he was like, yes. So I applied for them all, and I got all my auditions and all my audition dates. And I was like, right, now I need to pick some material, because you have to do like a contemporary piece and like a Shakespeare piece. And then it was kind of like a few months before, and I was like, I can't do this. I was like, I can't do it, because drama school is so different. There's no halls of residence. It's like you have to find somewhere to live in London and probably get flatmates. And I was 18, and I had no money, and I didn't know how I was going to fund it.
Can you go in just to act? Or can you?
Yeah.
So you didn't have to do the singing and dancing?
No, I think in some of them you do have to sing like for like one little bit. When I could get through that, I mean, they would be like, bloody hell, you're awful. But I would force myself to do it.
This is so old now. Have you seen that scene of Zayn Malik auditioning for X Factor?
No.
It's so funny.
Is it bad?
He hates it, and they're making him and Harry and Niall, and at this point
is this when they put them in the group?
Yeah, it's prior to that, so they're not a group yet. And then Zayn just walks off.
No.
He just goes, sits down. I don't know if it's part of like the drama, but he goes and like sulks and sits down.
He's a bit of a sulky boy, isn't he?
Yeah, and then they come over and they're like, come on, you'll be okay.
But yeah, and I just cancelled them, and I was like, sorry, I can't go. Yeah. And to be fair, places like RADA, I mean, you're aiming so high, and they don't tend to take on many 18-year-olds because they like people to have a bit of life experience.
Right, I got you. But how many people are auditioning?
Oh my God, from all over the world.
And it's 80 quid a pop.
Yeah.
They're making a fortune just on applications.
I know. If it's still the same, I'm sure it was about 80 quid. It was a lot. It was definitely over 50.
So you went back to school?
So I just stayed for like 4 years. And then obviously the longer I stayed, the more I kind of knew the ropes and would start to cover lessons. and just got more responsibility. So I would cover all the time.
What were you covering? Like what kind of classes?
So it started as drama, music, and art because that's what I was. They were my subjects that I was placed in. And drama, I knew. I did the GCSE and I half did the A level, but I knew the courses and I knew all the plays for GCSE, so I could do that. And very often, I would on the show days of GCSE, there would be like a kid that doesn't turn up, or a kid that's like, I'm not doing it. So I'd have to step in and do the GCSE like with the other kids and like have a script in hand. And then I got my own drama lesson, which was year 9, but they were just like, they didn't want to be there. They weren't, it was no GCSE. It was just like, you have to do.
You're forced to be there.
Kind of. So I tried to get as much out of them as I could, but year 9 boys that are not into acting and just want to play football, like it was hard.
What's that show with that Australian guy who's a drama teacher?
Mr. G.
I'm just imagining this in my head.
You running around like, woo,
like,
Mrs.
watch
G
me,
over
I
here.
can do this.
I'll do it, everyone sit down, I'll show you. But yeah, and then I remember once I had to cover a maths lesson and I failed maths about 5 times. Lesson? I never got my maths GCSE.
And they let you cover it?
Yeah, they were really low staffed.
What?
They were really low staffed. But it is like you get the work and it's like, right, that's what you have to do. And if you ask me for help, I will not know any of the answers. So...
I'll be like, you need to wait for your real teacher to
You shouldn't be asking me. You should be asking your neighbour.
So when did you start posting on socials? At what point in this arc were you like... So were you were you working in the school?
So I was working and then the school shut in the May.
Right.
And I was just sent home. And I didn't know if I was going to have a job because I was like, well, how? Because obviously redundancies started, people was losing their jobs. And I thought if the schools open up, I don't know if I'm guaranteed a job back. And I didn't want to go into teaching. I didn't want to do that. I always knew that I didn't want to do that. But I'd been very, very lazy with acting. I'd done a diploma and I did well in that and I enjoyed that because I was a bit older and I was like, right, actually, no, I want to get my arse into gear a little bit. So I had my diploma and I wanted to act. But we always got told you can't just sit at home and wait for a casting director to knock on the door and 100%. Go, we've heard you're fab. Yeah. Come and be on this show. And I feel like that's what I was waiting for. I was like, oh, I'm sure someone, well, how's anyone going to know if you're not doing anything? So I was like, right, I need to actually do something. So I was sent home with nothing to do and I was just doing a bit of marking, but there was really nothing to do. And I was like, oh my God, I'm so bored. And I didn't even have TikTok, the app, because all the kids would be on it at school. Yeah. And I thought it was just like they'd be dancing in the side of the classroom and they were like, Miss, have you got TikTok? And I'd be like, no. And I downloaded it because I was on Twitter and people were sharing really funny videos on Twitter from TikTok. Right. And I was like, oh, okay, this is quite funny. So I downloaded the app. And then lip syncs were the thing. Do you remember?
Yeah, I do.
People do lip syncs to like TV shows, reality shows, films. And I thought, oh my God, that's so funny. I love it. So I was like, okay, I could do that.
So was a lip sync the first video that you posted?
It was for like the first 3 months was just lip syncs.
Was it?
And I found some of them the other day. Yeah.
They're good.
Do you know what? My timing is impeccable.
They are quite difficult to get the timing
They
right.
would take me hours.
Like certain people can do it way better than other people.
Yeah, I did a Love Island scene. Do you remember the Love Island scene with Maura and Tom was like being rude to her about going into the hideaway? And then she's in the girls' dressing room. Tom comes up and he's like, and she's like, what? And there was like 4 characters and I had to do it like in chronological order. So you'd have to get changed and do one and lip sync and then get changed back in and do it. But yeah, they always take me hours. So I did that for like 3 months. And
when was the first time you started So you were posting these videos, you weren't in school, so the kids didn't know you were...
No, so I started posting them on private and then my brother was like, Monica, just go. And I was like, oh, I don't know if I can work in a high school and be on social media.
Well, what would have... Because they would have had a social media policy, right?
Yeah. I think so. I don't really know. But I just thought it's not appropriate if I get a following and then go back to school. But my brother was like, but you don't want to stay in the school, so why would you hold back on something that you want to do for something that you don't want to do? So I was like, yeah, true. So there was a job going at my mum's office where she works, and it was just like a receptionist kind of job. And I was like, I'll take it. because then I can leave the school and post whatever I want. So I did, and I have no idea what I was doing at that office to this day. I was like, oh my God, but it was a means to an end. I had to earn money to...
Because at this point you wouldn't have been earning money from
No,
socials.
nothing. So I was like, I need to have a job to earn money, and then I can post whatever I want. So I was like, absolutely going for it. And then we got put on furlough because the lockdown came back. So I used the furlough to absolutely hammer videos like every day, 2 a day,
It's so
1 a
funny because
day.
I've done a few of these interviews now, and so many people have a similar story about how if it wasn't for lockdown, they're not sure if this would have been...
I don't know if I would have done it.
Would have been a thing.
No, I totally agree. I don't know if I would have fallen into it, but... And then I got put on flexi furlough, which is working like twice a week. And then they wanted me back full time, and I was like, no. At this point, I was earning a little bit of money that would keep me afloat.
How long did it take for you to go from posting first video to it popping off? It's starting to do decent
I would
numbers.
say it popped off when I started doing my own skits.
Right.
Because I think people appreciate your own work.
Yeah.
So I got TikTok in the May. So actually, I started posting skits, I believe it was in the August.
Right.
And I would say by the January, February, it was like I was on a roll. And then I was getting like 100k followers a month.
But then you've been on there for a good 8-9 months.
Yeah.
Before it started to really do anything.
Probably, yeah.
Posting like regularly.
Yeah.
How many times were you posting per day? Or were you once a day?
Sometimes twice, but usually just once a day. Yeah, I think so. Until I probably got like 100k or something like that. But it was... I remember when it got to like 9,000, and I was like, I just want it to say 10k. I just want to see the k.
Yeah, and then you're like, I just want it to say 100k.
Yeah,
I just want it to say a million.
Yeah.
It's always a milestone.
It is.
But how did you know that you were ready to take the step from... Because there'll be a lot of people that are in your position or in the position where you were. How did you know that it was time to not go back to work?
Well, number one, they asked me to come back full time, and I just thought, I don't know if I can mentally do it. I really didn't enjoy it. And I know people go to work and do a job that they don't enjoy. I totally get that. But because I had something else that I could rely on, I was earning roughly my monthly salary from socials. Then
from what? From brand deals?
From brand deals.
Oh, okay.
And I was earning probably more from the creative fund than what I do now. I
That's
don't earn that
crazy.
much anymore. Yeah. I don't know if it's changed or what, but I was like, okay, I can, even if I get like, and I was living at home. So I was like, if I can get one advert a month, it could probably see me for 2 months if I really, really am careful with it. But it just
kept going. One of the things that so many people, when they knew you were coming on, wanted to ask is, how the hell did you come up with all these ideas? Like, where does it come from? And does it get tough?
Yes. Yeah, I do have dry spells, definitely. Or I've shown you before the list of ideas in my phone, and I scroll and scroll and scroll. And very often I'll look at an idea and I'm like, oh, I'm really not in the mood to do it. I don't know how to describe it, but I'm like, oh, can't bother to do that idea. I'll do this one. But very often when I'm doing an idea, I get another idea that comes off the back of that. Or like, I'll just be walking in the street. Like me and Connor were on a walk the other day, and I was like, oh my God, we need to do when mums are judging other houses. Just
I saw that. Yeah.
And then I'm like, I don't know.
I'd love that kitchen.
Yeah. That's nice. Let's see it on Rightmove. Like it just, and also my mum.
Yeah.
She is just the mum of mums.
How many times though do you write down an idea? You're like, that's golden. That's going to be brilliant. And then you start it and you're like, this is shit.
All the time.
Yeah.
A lot. Or I'll film something and edit it and think, I think that's quite good. And it'll like not do very well.
Yeah.
Or then some that I'll film it really quick just off the bat, like, oh, this might be okay. Post it and it'll do really well.
See, that's something that we're hearing so much of. It's the ones that you just don't even care about.
Yeah.
But then the question is, does it matter then in terms of actually putting in all this time and effort to make it like perfect, or should you just get content out?
I don't think it should be perfect, but I think like that's being shown to us already with like an example of Alex Earle.
Yeah.
She's gone absolutely mental. Her Get Ready With Me's are not set in this beauty room where there's
Aesthetic.
lights.
Yeah.
She's literally just like hungover, doing a bit of makeup, like, oh, my friend just walked in, she wants me. Like, it's so natural.
Yeah.
And I think it does better because it's relatable.
I remember when we first started working together, I think you maybe had 2, maybe 3 characters. And we were talking about like, doing more characters.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think you'd opened your mind up yet to doing more and more and more characters. What was that kind of like stumbling block for you about not wanting to?
I think it's because I knew that the characters I had worked.
Did well,
And I
yeah.
was, I guess, also like actually a little bit nervous to create more characters and people be like, this is rubbish. Like, what are you doing? But
You must
also
have tried a few that didn't work, right?
yeah, I tried a few. I did try a few that they would do all right, but I would always go back to like what worked. But there's a few that I don't do anymore, like the popular girl. I don't do her anymore.
Yeah.
She's kind of she's in the past.
She's not so popular anymore.
She's not so popular anymore. Everyone fell out with her. I don't know. I felt a little bit old to be getting
Old?
to be getting the bloody school town. I felt a bit of a weirdo. I was like, oh, but I'll do that in like a different way. So like the Saki girl, is just like out of the uniform, not so high school.
Yeah, maybe she's got her first job and it's better than everybody else's job.
Yeah. So I kind of left her in the past. And then there's other characters that I've done so well. And I like Dottie the dinner lady. I've not done her in a while. And I'm always like, I need to do her again. But I don't know why. Just the mum skits or teach skits just come.
Do you enjoy doing different characters or would you rather just stick to the ones?
No, I do like doing different characters. I do. And I always come up with like me and Connor's always like, oh, you should do this and I should do that. And I'm like, yeah. And I've got some like filmed on my phone, like different ideas, but I get scared to put them out there in case people are like, I know, you should just absolutely do it. But I do get nervous in case people are like, we want mum.
That's quite a thing. That's quite a regular thing that we hear from creators is they're worried about what their audience will say. If they post content that's not the same as the content that they've always been posting. How do you deal with that? How do you deal with when your fans are maybe like, I hate it. Or, oh, I don't want that. Or maybe I don't hate it, but I don't want to see that type of content. Like, how do you deal with that, I guess, like negativity?
I think because like it's so lovely when people follow your journey and like really invest their time into your videos. And I guess you think like, oh, I don't want to upset anyone and I want to give them the things they enjoy. But you know, at the same time, as much as it's for them, it's also for you.
Yeah.
And if you do want to put something on your social media page,
especially
you are
when
allowed.
It's your portfolio for acting.
Yeah. So I guess I just be like, oh, well, there's lots of other characters still. Just ignore this one. But I wouldn't really upset me too much.
Has it ever got to the point where they've been actively like hating? Have you ever had much hate?
Do you know what? I've actually been very, very fortunate in terms of like I've like touch wood, have never been completely ridiculed.
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, there was an ad once that
I was about to say
there's a few ads and
got
people
boosted and
it got boosted again.
It's not really your audience then.
No, it gets taken to like a completely different audience of like teenage boys that are just being weird or just inappropriate or just like I've been quite lucky with the fact that the main negative comment that I've only ever get is like, women aren't funny. I'm like, oh,
okay.
It's so boring.
Yeah.
Like, okay. But I don't find that insulting to me. I just find that
in general
to women, I'm just like, it's so frustrating.
I've got a million people following me that would disagree on
that,
just
like start with that. Like, what a disrespect to like your mums and like your sisters, your aunties. Like, it's just so disrespectful. But it's never like, oh God, you've...
Do you think that the female comedy creators on TikTok and other social media platforms do get a harder time of it than the male ones?
Yes, probably, yeah, because they're like a lot of the female comedians that I follow will get women aren't funny. This is why women aren't funny. Like, it's just like, well, stop watching it then. Like, block me. I'm not going to stop.
You don't have to comment as well. Like, you could just scroll.
Just scroll. Like, the more you comment on my videos, more my videos are going to come up on your page.
Yeah.
Like, leave me alone.
They're just not realising that.
No.
Like, why does this person keep coming up? It's because you're commenting.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know a lot about acting, as you can probably tell. But I know you have to be incredibly thick-skinned because there's a lot of rejections, a lot of no's, a lot of auditions, like you're saying. Do you think that's helped with your social media? Because you've got to be really resilient on there as well. Because for the first 8 months, your account wasn't doing what it's doing now.
Yeah, I would actually say it's the other way around because my social media grew quicker than
Acting.
my acting.
Yeah.
So actually getting the thick skin from social media has helped with
Interesting.
acting, I would say, because I've only got like one job that I've auditioned for in the past year. It's tough. The rest have been no's. So, but it's not like I'm not upset about it because I'm like
So
even
happy
to
with
get an
socials.
audition
No, right, yeah.
is so hard. Like it's so hard. So even to get the auditions, I'm like, yes, as long as someone's seeing my profile.
I shouldn't ask this as your management company, but do you think that social media sometimes has a negative effect on your acting?
Yes.
I think sometimes you're pigeonholed as the TikToker.
Yes, which
Yeah.
is, I think, very easy to have. And I think because I've come from TikTok, it would be like,
Yeah.
oh, she's come from TikTok. And I think there's nothing wrong with coming from TikTok at all. I mean, the platform is fantastic. But if I was on TV, it would probably be, if it was a part, and playing a character, it would probably come from my agent, my acting agent. And I think people would watch it and think, oh, well, she's come from TikTok. I think you're like, oh, no, I've come from my acting.
Yeah, I've been doing this longer than my socials.
Yeah, but there's nothing wrong with coming from TikTok. And I think it should be something that you're proud of because I think social media is this new portfolio of talent and I think it's fab.
So would you suggest for every young actor out there to get on to socials?
I think if you can, and if you're brave enough to do it, it's a hard thing to do. It's a scary thing to do if you've got an idea. I just think the way that I thought was I had no real skill set apart from like, I felt like I could do the acting, but I couldn't do the dancing, I couldn't do the singing, I can't do gymnastics. I'm not like a diver. I can't do archery, but like all these skills. So on Spotlight, which is like the home of casting, it has a skill set, and this skill set is pages long, like yoga, archery, karate, like driving, like it's huge.
Have you ever put one on there that you're not quite?
No, because I'm like, do you know what?
I don't ever get, because there's like a scene in Friends where Joey says he can speak French.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know, because if you are in an audition and
they
they're
call
like,
you
oh,
out on
you've
it.
said that you are like a professional yoga woman. Can you show us some moves? I'd be like, I can't even touch my toes. So no, it would be so embarrassing because like, and Connor always says this as well, like if you couldn't stand up and show someone that you can do it, you can't put it down.
Yeah.
Or like instruments. People love it if you can play an instrument. I can play hot cross buns on the recorder and that's as like talented.
Is that on your
as it gets.
Spotlight?
No.
You should put it on.
I should actually.
You never know when that might come up as a part.
I've definitely put some accents on that I'm like, but if I did it for a whole week before.
Yeah, exactly. You could wing it.
Yeah.
Do you think that you growing other platforms will help you get out of this pigeonhole of a TikToker?
Yeah,
then you're more of like a social media creator.
Yeah, I think so, definitely. And I think it's important to put yourself, because do you know what? There's different audiences on every single platform.
100%.
It's crazy. Yeah. So like my Twitter is probably like 90% teachers. That's
teachers. Where my cousin follows you. She sent me a video the other day about, I can't remember what it was. Oh, you were calling somebody's mum.
Yes.
And like saying about a detention.
It's not on TikTok yet.
Is it not?
No.
It's just on Twitter?
It's on Twitter and YouTube.
So you stagger posts to different platforms. See, not all creators do that.
No, I'm like, oh, I'll put this one out here tonight.
Why do you do that?
Honestly, because I'm not organised.
Look, there's no strategy. It's just
there's no strategy to it really. It's also because like sometimes the captions, I have an app where I do captions and sometimes the captions don't work, and I really try and not put out something that doesn't have captions, whereas on TikTok it has its own caption section, and on Instagram, so if I'm really struggling with this app, I can put captions on there, but I'll wait for the app to work to put it on YouTube, and then if I can do the captions on the app, I'll get it straight on YouTube or straight on Twitter, and then I think, I can't bother to do more captions on the other one, so I'll just hang fire. So it's no strategy really, but
it is though like a strategy.
I guess so, an unintentional strategy.
But some creators do it to kind of make certain platforms feel more unique, especially when they're trying to, for example, like I know your YouTube's done really well lately. If you're trying to get people from your TikTok over to your YouTube, they put exclusive content for like a week onto YouTube first.
Yeah, I would say YouTube sees all of my work first.
Really?
Yeah.
So you're prioritizing YouTube,
Yeah.
really?
Yeah, I am.
How come?
Because there's probably more money in it.
It's not a bad thing to say. Like the platforms need to get better at
Yeah.
monetizing content, and YouTube have just taken the first step
But
in
do you
doing
know
that.
what? They're so supportive. Like that little plaque that they sent, it was not even that little. They sent
it's
me
a
a
pretty
full,
big plaque,
it's a
yeah.
big plaque, sent me a plaque for 100K. Like, how nice is that to make you feel part of, like, make it really feel like an achievement? I remember when I hit 1 million followers on TikTok, and I was sat, it's when I was living in London, and I was sat with Millie.
Oh, yeah.
And it just went,
A million.
and we were like, oh my God, yay.
YouTube are good with that, and if you get a gold one at 1 million, don't you?
Yes.
And then you get
Platinum.
10 million.
Is it 10 million?
10 million's I worked with a
Do you hear
creator
that?
who got one. Is that your neck?
Yeah.
Are you okay?
I'm so sorry. I'm tightening up.
Oh,
I'm awful.
that's not good, Mon, is it?
No.
It's arthritis, that, isn't it?
No.
That's what my mum
That's
used
what
to
they
tell
tell
me,
you, but
don't
it's not
crack
true.
your knuckles.
It's not true.
Was that your elbow?
My elbows. I know, my neck goes.
Mon,
Oh.
you're definitely not a yoga teacher.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, that's why I like creak when I move.
Yeah, with YouTube, it's a diamond. It's like
Yes.
a diamond block. Like I've seen it, and it's so heavy. And it comes in like a briefcase. Yeah. So
Is that 10 million?
Yeah. So you just need to get 10 mil.
Oh,
Go on,
bring it on.
10
We're at
mil.
100K. Let's keep going.
Okay.
But
How do you deal with How do you deal when your views on because right now TikTok views are all over the place.
All
Every
over the
creator I'm
place.
talking to, they're like, why are my views not doing well?
Yeah.
I'm gonna quit. Like, fuck this. But everybody's views are down. How do you deal with it when you start to get, lower than wanted views and engagement?
Do you know what? I actually feel really sad. I feel so sad. And very often, actually, and this is a flaw that I need to stop doing, I'll delete the content. And I'm like, I'll try and repost it tomorrow and see if it does any better. Because I'm like, it doesn't make sense.
There's
like,
an
surely
argument
more...
not to repost it though, isn't there? Because the algorithm will read that it's not a brand new video.
Oh, well, yeah, that makes sense because they still do shit. So...
It is tough though, because so many creators that we speak to on our roster are like, oh, I've deleted it because it wasn't doing well.
It is hard.
It's like,
it's very disheartening.
because
And I
everything
know...
TikTok tells us, and you can't believe everything they tell you, but they always say don't delete.
Yeah.
But you do delete.
I have been a sucker for a delete. I have been trying lately to just leave it and let it
go.
be what it will be.
Because it is evergreen as a platform. Like
yeah.
a month down the line, it could take off.
And I think it's so easy as a creator to get in your own head about this and be like, oh, if it's not getting at least 200K or 300K for whatever, like I'm not funny anymore. Like people don't like me anymore.
That must be because when we speak to like beauty creators or fitness creators, they don't have, it's not as, I guess, subjective or creative as comedy. Is that quite like a hard hitting thing to you when you don't get the views?
Yeah, like, I think it's like, am I not being pushed, or do people just not like it? But you can't let it like ruin you and be like, oh, that's it, I'm gonna quit. Like I wouldn't think I'm gonna quit, but it's just like, okay, I need to create something better. I suppose it's just like a bit of a kick in the ass to be like,
who do you talk to when your views go down? Do you talk
Connor, just my boyfriend.
Has it been...
And Vic, to be fair. I'm like, my views are shit. He's like, my views are shit.
Not Rosie, because Rosie would be like, go away, Monica.
Yeah, I try not to nag. Sometimes I do message Rosie and I'll be like, what's going on? She'll be like, we've got loads of creators saying the same thing. So I'm like, oh, it's not a personal attack. It's like, you've just got to think, do you know what? It's just doing its thing. And it's obviously pushing different people on the For You page at that time.
So Connor's an actor as well.
He's an actor.
How has it been dating an actor? Has it been a good support system?
Oh my God.
Just knowing what the day in, day out, even just like, I think about this sometimes when I think about you. But when I'm like talking to you, I'm like, it's got to be a different day structure to a lot of people because you're filming content, but you don't need to be in an office at 9.
Yeah.
What's that like? Has it been good, I should say, having him to...
Yeah, but his
balance
structure's
you
like the same.
Yeah.
We don't have like proper structure. And I think it's very important to have routine. Like humans thrive on routine.
Yeah.
And like
So do you have like a filming routine?
No,
No, just every day.
nothing. And I should do because I can get quite lazy. And I'm like, oh, I can't be bothered. But it's good having the dog because you've got to get up and you've got to walk the dog for like at least an hour, and then you've got to feed the dog again. And
Yeah,
you've got
Toby came on and he's just got a dog, and he was saying the same thing. Like, he finds it really hard to have routine as a
Yeah.
creator, and he got a dog, and it's really helped.
Oh, it's helped massively
Yeah.
with both of us as well, because when Connor's not working, not filming anything, he is doing his tutoring. And that's like so many times a week, but it's in the evening. So he's got all day.
Yeah.
So yeah, little Nelly definitely does help. But do you know what though? Like, I've always been like this. I've never been this person that's like, oh, I'm going to get up and have a smoothie and go to the gym. Like,
You're not as bad as like some creators I know that wake up at like 2 p.m. every day.
no.
You're still like an early riser.
Yeah, I try and get up by 8.
That's good for a creator. If all creators got up at 8, my life would be.
Yeah.
But yeah, going back to Connor, I guess it's got to be quite... Because if you were dating someone that was like 9 to 5, finance guy, he would just wouldn't get it.
No, I wouldn't. And like, also, I could not survive that life now. My mum always says to me, God knows what you do. You have to get a proper job.
Hopefully that never has to happen.
Yeah, fingers crossed. But I'm just, you can get quite lazy with it, and it's important too. I think it's very easy to have these periods where you feel very not so creative, and but actually, if you look back on what you have done and the jobs that you've actually had and had to get up at 6 a.m. and go to work, and you've not got home till 5, and if you looked then and someone said to you in a couple of years, this is what you'll be doing, you'll be working for yourself, just making content, oh my God, you'd be like, no.
I think we're really bad as a human race in reflecting on what you've actually done.
Yeah.
But how do you get out of those creative holes where you just can't, you're like, I don't know, like I've done this a million times, I've talked about Maisie, like
Maisie, just leave off, girl.
Maisie, I've had enough, just go out with your friends. How do you like get out of that?
I just have sometimes I'll just have a day or two where I'm just being mopey, and then I'm like, I don't know, I'll just be like, right, I need to stop it now. And you don't get that by just sitting about moping. Like,
No,
come on, girl,
no. Chin up and
just a bit of like self. But as well, like what I try and do is when I have a filming days, I'll film like multiple bits of content so I can.
Because you're in that flow. It's kind of like a writer, isn't it? Like
yeah. And I can.
Is that the biggest challenge for you on social media? That
keeping the motivation,
the creativity.
Yeah, I would say so.
Yeah. What about like the engaging with fans? Like do you reply to fans? Do you?
Sometimes, yeah, I'm definitely not the best at it. I read them.
Yeah.
I do read them, and I like to like quite a lot, and I appreciate it. Oh my goodness, appreciate it so much. And do you know what? The support and love on Jobsworth is probably the first time I felt overwhelmed with support.
So talk about Jobsworth, because I wanted to talk to you about it. What is it for anyone that's not watched it?
Get on it. Number one, it is a sketch show so I had this idea, right? And this was last year, beginning of last year.
Been talking about it for a while.
A long time. Yeah. And I was like, I want to do a proper sketch show. I want it to be on TV. I want to be Victoria Wood and Catherine Tate all in one, and that's what I want to do. And I was like, I need to do it with someone, and I wanted to do it with someone really funny. And Chris Hall, oh my God, I could just sing his praises all day. He is hilarious. He's one of the most quick-witted people I've ever met.
He does stand-up, right?
He does stand-up, yeah.
You've never done stand-up, right?
Never will.
Never will?
Never will.
Why
It's
not?
so hard.
Really?
Oh my God, it's so hard.
So much more different than doing a
So
skit.
different. And it really takes courage to stand up and just hope that you make a live audience, like, scary, try and make them laugh. And he does it so well, and we've done a few skits together
which went down really
well.
Yeah.
And he just makes me laugh. Like, I don't know, sometimes I find it hard to actually, like, you know when you watch TikTok and you're like, oh, that was funny, but you know when you see someone, you're like, you're making me really laugh, like, there's something
Were you
really
sometimes
good about
filming
you.
with him and just laughing?
All the time.
Yeah.
All the time. We have so many bloopers. And I was like, I want to do this thing, and this is how I want to do it, and and we were running through ideas, and I was like, I was going to create a skit with a lollipop lady, and I was going to call her Lola the Lollipop Lady. Do you remember?
Yeah.
And I was like, why didn't we just take that idea and be two lollipoppers and just go round. And it kind of only got to the actual day. So we put it off for so long because I find that actually the hardest thing is actually doing it.
Yeah, 100%.
And then when you've actually done it, you're like, oh my God, why did it take so long to do it?
That's social media in a nutshell,
isn't it?
But just doing it, just getting started, because you'll get better, and you always look back on your videos from a year ago and be like, what was I doing?
Yeah, 100%. Like just do it. So we filmed, and we didn't really have a proper idea about what we were going to be doing until the day of filming. We like discussed a few ideas. And we were like, right, well, we'll just film in this one area, and we take our jobs very seriously. We didn't have a name for the show, and we filmed it, and it was so fun. We had the best time. I roped Connor in. I was like, come on, get in the car.
Yeah, I saw his cameo.
Yeah, and it was so fun, and it just became this like two lollipop people, and I was like, right, we'll just continue on this route. And we had kind of a structure of right, we'll do the first scene here, and then we'll move outside, and then we'll have lunch, and then we'll kind of end it, and we just like freeballed it. And we could not think of a name after we'd done it, and I was like, I kind of want to keep it in this job realm of like, it's people who are in very different jobs, very different characters, but taking their jobs very seriously, no matter who they were or what they do. And I was like, oh my God. Well, do you know what? I called someone Jobsworth, and my mum was like, do you know what that means?
Who was it?
I don't even know, and I don't even know what they did, but I was like, oh, he's a Jobsworth. And my mum was like, that's not what Jobsworth means. I thought it was just an insult.
It is an insult, isn't it?
To someone that takes their job very seriously.
Yeah.
But I was just called like this random guy Jobsworth, and mum was like, what do you mean? Like, it was just like, it didn't make any sense. And she was like, a Jobsworth is someone that like takes their job so seriously that it's like, yeah, then they're a bit of a job's worth.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, right, that's what it means. And then me and Connor were on the way back from his parents, and I was trying to think of names, and he was trying to think of names, and I was like, oh, a job's worth.
Yeah.
It's perfect.
That's what they are in that.
That's what they are. Yeah. So, and I sent it to Chris, and he was like, yes, that's it. So that was it. And that's what it will continue to be.
Yeah. And what's the hope for it?
So we have some filming planned for this year, and we're going to kind of expand the ideas a little bit. I'm not going to give too much away.
Away from lollipop people?
Yeah. So they will be set characters within Jobsworth.
Right, got you.
But there will be more characters.
So it'll kind of be like, probably a bad thing to reference, but like Little Britain with like different...
Yeah, or like the Catherine Tate show.
Yeah, better
as
one.
Like a slightly cleaner.
But to be fair, not that clean. I watched it the other day. Like original episodes, pretty risky these days.
What, Catherine Tate? Yeah, she. You know, to be fair, they were risque. Some of them.
That's actually a really good topic. Do you think that, or do you ever worry about some of the things that you make jokes about now, are things that people are not going to be able to make jokes about in 10 years' time?
No, but I am very careful.
You are very
not
clean.
That I don't really make kind of those jokes anyway. But I am careful because I would hate to upset anybody.
Have you ever upset anybody?
Yeah. Yeah. The mum's getting home on a Friday night with a bottle of wine. Yeah. Well, number one, it upset people that had ice in my wine. And I was like, look, hun, you don't need to put any ice in yours. Yeah. But I was getting comments being like, you're promoting alcohol for parents. And I was like, no, I'm not. Sorry. But like, if I did something wrong, I will always hold my hands up. I'll always take responsibility. But no, I'm not.
That must be so frustrating when people do take jokes just in the wrong way.
It's just like, someone said this isn't a good message. And I was like, it's not a message at all. There's no message. I'm
sending this out to mums out there saying, please drink.
Mums, you need to have a drink on a Friday. Like, oh my God, like, I don't care what you do on a Friday. It's just this made up character. It's just an impression of my mum being a bit silly. It's taken to the next level because she never really did that. But it's not a reality show. This isn't
comedy,
how I act.
It's an over-exaggeration of real life.
Yeah, I can't let everything
I really like what Ricky Gervais says about that. Have you heard what he said?
Yeah, what is it like? How can you go through life?
How can you be so arrogant to think that people aren't allowed to offend you?
Yeah, and like, actually, you're offending me.
Yeah, that is so true, because they've made the effort to comment on your page, be offensive. they don't know how that's going to affect you.
No.
You might quit. You'd be like, right, I'm done. Done with socials.
Yeah.
And
Have
now,
no more job.
Now no job.
Yeah.
They don't think of it like that. You probably couldn't be cleaner.
No, and I really do try.
Compared to like even some of the people we were talking about prior to this, you're way cleaner.
Well, I make sure I don't swear. But that's only because like I know that I have quite a lot of a young following.
Audience,
so
which means, again, you're taking the time to be conscious of your audience, which not everybody does. So you're already making a better step than most people.
And you have got to be careful. You have.
I'm so excited for these future skits of jobs.
Oh, I know. We've got some good ideas as well. We've got 2 set ideas. We just need one more.
When are you planning on?
July. Okay. Beginning of July, I think, because, well, to be fair, we could probably do sooner, but I think we need better weather.
Yes, because
it was raining
last time
all day.
You had to cancel it, didn't you? Just because
we had to cancel it, and then the weather was still rubbish on the day we actually did it. But we just thought we'll just have to do it, and it was fine, to be honest. But it'd be just nice to do it in a bit nicer weather.
Yeah. And then the hope maybe it gets picked up by a TV channel.
Yeah, hopefully.
If you're watching TV channel, people
hit me up.
Yeah.
BBC, ITV, Channel 4, Netflix, any of you. But
Hulu, we'll take anyone.
Yeah, anyone. But that was kind of our hope. So we reached out to a few, and we were kind of getting somewhere, but we needed more material.
Yeah.
And because we thought we're not going to film again until July, we don't want to be sat on something that we paid quite a lot of money to do it and a lot of time and effort. And we thought, well, we'll just put it on social media because you don't know what you can get out of it.
No.
Like what we all have. It's done us all right so far.
Exactly.
So
for you and Chris, that's where your success is coming from.
Yeah.
Working with brands.
Yeah.
Do you like it? Like,
yeah.
Do you what's your experience? I guess the main thing I want to talk to you about brand work is I find that the comedy creators have a way, it's more intricate working with brands because they're partnering with you because you're funny, but then they want you to say the things they want you to say for the brand message, and then comedy is subjective. Like the amount of times I've sent not just your videos but other comedy creators videos to brands and they've gone, I just don't think it's funny, and you go,
oh really?
And you're going, maybe not with yours because they're all funny, but in terms but it's so subjective, and I'm going, of course it is, yeah. Sorry, brand manager, I didn't know you were an expert in comedy.
Yeah, all right, show us some stand-up then.
Exactly. In terms of comedy creators, for us the big thing is get a creative concept signed off is thoroughly and as detailed as possible, because then it's like if you can't do it,
then fine. And I always say, as long as I can do it as a skit, that's okay.
Or if you end up then doing it and then they say don't like it, we go, well, you signed off on the creative.
Yeah, I got a dancing one once and I was like, no. And they were like, you can make it into a skit, and I was like, okay, but they were like, you have to include 3 of the moves. So I did make it skitty.
What was it like navigating? Because when you first started working with brands, you didn't have management, right? Like right in the beginning.
Yeah.
What was that like? Did you even know how to price yourself, what to negotiate on, what to sign? Like
no, nothing. I don't even think I signed something for the first job I did. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
How many campaigns did you work on without any kind of advice?
I think it was like 1 or 2. Okay, it wasn't many.
Loads. How important is it, in your opinion, for actors who have a social media following to also have social media managers as well as acting?
I can't really say because I don't know. I wouldn't say I'm a big enough actor to know that. Like, because I don't know what offers. Because they'll have managers, I'm assuming, because you get actors promoting certain bits, don't you, on social media, but I don't know where that would come through. I'm not quite sure. It depends, I think, because like there'll be loads of actors that are not bothered about social media at all and want nothing to do with it, which is absolutely fine. Or some that might want to do like 50-50. And in that case, I would say, well, you probably need, because the worlds are so different. They're very, very different.
That's more what I'm saying. Like, do you think if you've got an actor really wants to be on socials, has a good social media following, do you think it's important to have a social media manager?
Yeah, it's very, very different.
Because?
It's very different because like there's so much, it's like the fees are very, very different for a start. And like your knowledge on like usage, exclusivity, the deliverables, an acting agent might not quite know, well, what what do you mean one story and one reel? What does that, do you know what I mean? Whereas
Yeah.
you would know, well, for a reel, and you would know all the insights to send. I guess it's different types of knowledge.
Yeah.
You have knowledge of the social media realm. They'll have knowledge of the acting realm, and they work, I guess, kind of similar-ish.
Yeah.
Also really, really different.
I always hold my hand up and I say that we're not an acting agent, and we never try and say that we are.
Yeah.
So if an acting agent's like, I can do your social media management, I'm always like,
Yeah.
that's two completely different
I
worlds.
think it is
And
important.
you have some agencies that can do both.
Yeah.
But they're very few and far between.
Yeah.
And then my question is always, are they doing one of them good enough?
That's it, because this is your whole focus, so you know it absolutely inside and out. So would you want to be with someone that knows it inside and out, or just someone that dips their toe in the water
Exactly.
every now and then? I think it's better to just be with someone that absolutely knows everything. Probably the safest way.
My final question for you.
Yeah.
I'm asking to everybody, because you are one of the most positive people I've ever spoken to.
Really?
Well, we get on Zoom calls and we're there for like hours.
Oh, we do like a good
do
chat.
like a good
We have a
chat. I think it's
natter.
because we're Northern.
Yeah.
I think that's what it is.
Yeah.
But the question I'm asking to everybody is, what's your one tip for keeping a positive mindset?
I think it's very important to be grateful for the things you have. And this is outside of social media. So I am so lucky to have a lovely family and lovely friends and a lovely boyfriend and a lovely dog. And I do stay within that circle socially. And I think it's very important just to do the things that you enjoy, and don't go and do things that you don't enjoy. And I know that's such but I feel like it's so easy to go and do things because you
It's
feel
so
like
easy
you
to say
have
yes,
to do
yeah.
something. Just don't. And just do what makes you happy. And if you think, oh, actually, I'd rather not go to that because I'm not going to enjoy myself, don't go. And it's hard to say no, if all your friends are going to something and you don't want to go. But I think it's important to just spend time with those that make you feel good and have a laugh. I think laughing is one of the most important things in the world.
100%.
And I think you need to be with people that make you belly laugh, tummy ache.
I think what you're saying is it's about appreciating the things that maybe are outside of work, or if you're a creator outside of socials, don't get so wrapped up into your numbers and your engagement, and think about who your friends are, who your family is. Maybe you don't have a great family network or friendship network, but there'll be something outside of socials that you can
100%.
dive into. Toby actually was saying one of the things that keeps him positive is that when his numbers are down, he focuses on everything else in his life.
Yeah.
And that's the key. Right?
But I think that's it, isn't it? You can get so wrapped up in this materialistic world almost of numbers and followers and engagement when that is not you. My social media isn't me. It's all characters. So what's actually important to me is the people that I spend time with. And as long as you're spending time with them and being happy, that's what's important, is your family and your friends.
Amazing.
And your dog.
And your dog. Thank you, Mon.
Thank you. This has
Cool.
been so fun.